So welcome everybody to the second hour of Mindshifters Radio, and today's Friday, and it's December the 12th, 2025. We welcome you to the show. How's everybody doing today? Cammie, I'm sure you're in warmer weather than we are. I think here it is 33 degrees and we have snow. Welcome Anita and Susan.
It actually got warmer and it's been in the upper 70s. One day we even got up to 81.
Wow,
So,
nice.
yeah, it's been beautiful the last several days.
Well, you enjoy it.
I am. I am enjoying the heck out of it. Yesterday when I checked, it was 3 degrees at my home.
Oh, burr.
Yeah.
You got
Don't miss it.
everything winterized so it's safe while you're gone?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Anita, I hope your throat is doing better.
Hi, Jeannie. It's coming slowly.
Oh, my. Still a whisper. Mine and Michael's is definitely getting better, but it's been a long haul. I mean, I started coughing during the intensive, and I still have it, but it's definitely getting better. So, sending you love and best wishes there. Save your voice.
Thank you. I just wanted to share that we were at -13 currently in Celsius and snowing.
Oh, burr. Burr. Welcome, Susan Bingham. Susan Fluick.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine. How are you?
Good. Trying to stay warm. Finally got Christmas presents shipped off yesterday to Missouri and Kansas City, St. Louis, and also up to New Jersey. So hopefully they'll get them by Christmas time.
Your bag solution is a lifesaver.
I tell you, it was easy just putting things in bags and putting stuff in the paper down in the top. And I did a whole lot easier. I had to wrap a couple of them, but anyway. How's Susan
Thank you
Fluick
for all the
doing?
work of doing it. Huge. Welcome, everybody.
Hi, that's how I'm doing. I'm just making myself a coffee, and I'm in the kitchen on my phone. So
Coffee, doing drugs?
Yes, I am doing drugs.
I'm shocked.
Drugs are showing up today.
What's coming up that you need drugs today? Or is this your normal routine? Misinterpreting.
No, this is this drug. Not every day, but most days I have a coffee in the morning. So I haven't broken that yet.
Well, things are going to hit a whole new level when you do that one.
Yeah, I'm
and
sure.
You got that bag of
the dandelion. I know it's sitting there.
Dandelion root. Yeah.
I know, and for some reason, and I don't know, some reason it's in there. I don't know what that's about. I'm working through some other stuff that will have to tackle that one in 2026.
There you go.
So I'm just,
That's the thing that dandelion root tea is the thing that broke Jeannie of her lifetime habit of
coffee.
Yep.
I still like to have a cup every now and then, though.
Yeah, now and then, but it's not a daily routine for you anymore.
Yeah, not a daily routine. So even that you're talking about it, I can feel there's something there. But right now there's lots of other stuff.
Well, you do have the option. You could just breathe and pour it down the drain.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at the. That's.
Are you breathing now? Are you breathing on that thought?
I could breathe.
I got to mind
okay, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
All right.
Listen, I'm going to do it. This is okay. I'm going to do it. I just did it.
Just courageous. Are you breathing while you're thinking about doing it?
I just did it. Okay.
All right. Are you breathing?
Yeah. What was that about? I can feel the whole charge right in my
It's a powerful drug.
On the right hand side of my on my hip. What is that about?
Interesting.
Yeah, holy cow. Okay. Well, I just did it. I put it down the drain.
Well, your whole nervous system's going to do another level of recovery.
Oh my God, what is that about then? Holy moly. I guess I don't need to know.
If you need to know, the breath will show it to you.
Yeah, there's so much going on right now. It's so much is up.
Holding the space. Any news with your brother?
No, I haven't looked at that yet. Right now I'm going through so my entire and Chat GPT helped give me language of what's actually going on in my physiology. And
Mhm.
it's called down regulation, where finally my nervous system is
Being
yeah, it's
able to let
just
go.
yeah, it's letting go. So that and I didn't I mean I've been in sympathetic dominance my whole life.
Coffee helps to sustain that sympathetic dominance.
So now I want to go. And so it's been down regulating, and I just observe the sensations happening in my body, doing a lot of breath work and just watching what's getting revealed layer by layer. And I could feel this morning in breath work that it was just, yeah, it's especially in my pelvic bone, my pelvic area, it's starting to let go. So that's good. But yeah, that coffee, what is that? I could just feel that this morning. So we'll see what gets revealed with letting go of coffee. And not that I've been a coffee drinker maybe the last 3 years. Before that, I never, I was younger. I didn't touch coffee.
So have you looked at what was going on when you started doing coffee?
Yeah, I don't know what the heck that's about.
It might be
When I
worth looking
started
at.
it? No, actually, it's longer than that. When I started it is when I think when I left Duncan,
Mm.
when I
Yeah,
actually,
that makes sense.
yeah, when I left Duncan,
Yeah.
yeah, I moved
So you
into
might
this.
just breathe and be prepared to allow some of the unresolved energies around that
Mm,
separation and what was going on with your son. Just, give yourself the space, be gentle with yourself and at the surface.
yeah, okay. Thank you. I didn't know when I said hi on my call that I'd be dropping coffee today, but that's all good. I'm ready for it. It's my new level of vitality. And I can do this like everything
Breathing with
else.
you.
Yeah,
Hey, I used to be in the restaurant business. I used to drink 2, 3 pots of coffee a day.
yeah,
And when I'd quit for a long time before I met Jeannie, but she drank coffee regularly. So I would take a sip or two from hers. And I got to the point where I realized this is probably, I don't know. When was the last time I had a sip of your coffee, honey? Probably 7 or 8 years, maybe even 10 years ago. And I realized that even just having that sip was a hit that my nervous system didn't need. So I don't even take a sip of it. Still love the smell of it. It's
yeah,
a great
yeah,
smell, but it's
yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I'll definitely have to sit with what, now that you said that this morning, there is something, it's almost a comfort, I guess. There's a sense of comfort that comes with it, whatever that is.
yeah.
Yeah,
I remember that the comforter is available to you and you just breathe into it and
yeah,
let that
exactly.
physiological presence of love reflect through your tissue structure when it's free of anesthetics,
Yeah, true.
as opposed to dulling sensations. And of course, dulling a sensation of pain feels like comfort, but it's anything but.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I can feel there's energy just going through my entire it's like poppings going on right now as we're talking on the right hand side of my body, especially at my sacred heart. And I went up my whole right leg, like air would be going through a tube and all these bubbles are popping. So that's interesting.
Nice full breath. Just the right side loosening up and having gone
Mhm.
through a separation divorce would make sense. It would be right side stuff.
Yeah, and it's what I realized? I don't think the true masculine was ever able to incarnate into this physiology. And that's what it was so guarded and so braced, that whole right side,
Ah,
that I
well,
have
with
to
what you've
stay
been working on,
braced.
it makes sense that that's what the coffee is maybe
Tell me more about that.
about
It's-
avoiding your own masculine side,
Mm,
about nullifying it. And
yeah,
it just the fact that you made a choice in this moment to let go of it, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden your right side starts to wake up and move.
Mm. Yeah, it feels interesting because it feels. I just keep hearing the word suppression in my head right now. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been suppressing feelings and
Yeah.
being braced and guarded. Well, we'll see what gets revealed with all of this. Well, thanks for that prompting.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Joining you in it.
Yeah, and how was the Christmas event with Aria?
Great. The teacher that did that conducted the choir, they had a choir of, what did they have there? Probably 75 little kids, like from kindergarten to maybe grade 4 in the choir. I had to go up to her afterward and just acknowledge her for her patience. She'd been a
Yeah,
teacher. They gave her an award for 42 years of service.
yeah,
And she's in response, when I acknowledged her for the patience she must have for all these little people. And I mean, this concert was over an hour, and all these kids were just there. And I mean, they sang beautifully, and,
yeah.
and they were all just settled. And, there were one or two of them that were doing some really cute acting out, but otherwise, I mean, they were all just right there doing it. And, she said, well, it's been a long time, and I find my patience gets lower, but I just keep working on it.
Aw,
But it was really sweet.
I know. I remember Alexander going through those. Yeah, beautiful when you watch those little kids and how pure they are at those
Yeah,
Christmas
yeah.
concerts.
One of the songs they were doing is "We Three Kings of Orient Are," and the week before Ari was singing it with us, and I have a version that I learned as a kid that goes, "We three kings of Orient are tried to smoke a rubber cigar. It exploded. We imploded. We three kings of Orient were." And so I sang that with her over and over. She said, "Papa, don't do that. I won't remember the real words." So I went up to her after the concert. I said, "Now you remembered the real words, right? The rubber cigar." She just looked at me.
Aw, awesome.
Sweet. Anyway, so how's everybody else doing? Anything exciting happening for anyone? Well, I have something exciting. At least it's exciting for me. And that is that I've been doing some work on, of course, Jeannie's introduction to her book, and on the book, It's All Greek to Me. Yesh was saying, everything they told you about me. And in that research, I've been looking at several of the things that Yeshua says, and one of them he says is, you can blaspheme me. The word blaspheme is used there, or deny, but don't blaspheme. Don't deny the Rukha Qudsha. Don't deny the one I'm here to connect you with. And, I've shared with you how the breath has come to the forefront since I did my own quantum StillPoint session. It's just like progressed on a daily basis, like I'm getting insight after insight after insight. And the insight I got this morning, I had this really powerful energy that moved in my jaw. It was almost like somebody came up and with their thumb and two fingers put their thumb up under my chew muscle. When you do the energy field work, we talk about that chew muscle, you tighten your jaw. It was like somebody come up and put their thumb under it, then their two fingers on top and just squeezed it. And from there, pulses went up into my brain. And I realized it was just another layer and another level of brain detox for me, of physiological cleaning out. And when it all just kind of came together with, I've always thought of Yeshua as the way shower to God. But Yeshua is not the way shower to God. Yeshua is the way shower to the way shower. And it's a breath. I mean, we've been tricked for so long. I've been kind of confronting because, my training, my ordination to the tradition of the Holy Spirit. But it occurred to me on a whole different level how we've been conned away from the way shower to the direct connection to the Creator. And they turned the the breath into this disembodied spirit idea, which there's no justification whatsoever for it in the Aramaic language. It is your breath that will instruct you and show you the way, that will reveal everything. It's not Yeshua. Yeshua's here to say, here are the tools to get to the way shower. And to find that gate, it's the breath that takes us there. And, you know, you've heard me say it many times. It's like, oh, I'm finally starting to get it. And at this moment, for me, on a personal level, in terms of my own personal process, it's like I'm finally starting to get it. This is, for me, the most important insight in almost 60 years of doing this work. Remember, I shared with you on a quantum still point, you know, this idea of salvation came up. It's like, there's nothing out there to be saved from. But with your first breath, if you can keep the breath, with your first breath, you were given what the world calls salvation. You were given the pathway. And it was that opening in quantum still point that led me to start doing, you know, I've been doing pretty much, quote unquote, religiously, hesitate to use that word, an hour to 3 hours a day of still point breathing. And I was working on another piece of the book today, and it's like, there's no such thing as the gifts of the spirit. This is just another thing to distract us from where the real deal is. And you look at that first beatitude, and what I've been contemplating this morning since this all opened up is, was this really purposely done? Or was it just an accident that the first beatitude tells us we're supposed to be in the Greek rendition, the Greek misinterpretation? There is no translation of anything Aramaic about Jesus in Greek. There's no translation whatsoever. But this misinterpretation, was it purposely done to say we're supposed to be void of the breath, poor in spirit? When what Yeshua, the way shower to the way shower, said is, you want your home to be in the breath, continuously connected to the source of divine intelligence in you. And how just degraded that whole thing became when they got rid of the understanding that he was talking about the breath. He didn't breathe on them. He invited them to remember what the original breath was that they had at the moment of their birth. The original breath that was put into us at the moment of the creation of the dust of the earth and infused with the life and intelligence and animation of the breath. She who undoes the effects of your errors. So, monumental one for me, and I see that Carrie's got a thought for us. Hey, young lady, welcome.
Hi, hi. This is these awakenings or insights that you're having are very powerful, and I'm wondering if you have had any thoughts, for example, about the fact that the Course in Miracles uses Holy Spirit
I have.
as the wayfinder, and also I'm not familiar, perhaps I haven't read the right pieces in A Course in Miracles about the breath. And I'd like your thought, not just about the relationship to the Aramaic and the Bible, but also to A Course in Miracles, of what you're uncovering.
Well, my focus, I've had very little to zero focus since it's been just a year now, or maybe just a few days over a year since I did that quantum still point on myself, and that just opened a whole other dimension for me. But I haven't touched the Course since then. So I haven't looked at what happened to breath in the Course. However, I understand that it came into a Western civilization where every mind involved had been westernized, whether it was Helen or whoever all the others were. They were all just, their minds were glued to that. And my mind, I've been doing this work for 60 years and working with the Aramaic specifically for, I don't even know exactly, 44, 47 years. And I knew, way back when I originally did the Beatitudes poster, I knew that Beatitude, that first Beatitude, was not be poor in spirit, but rather have your home in the breath. I knew that back then, but I never got it. So I can understand why this culture has been so permeated with this idea of spirit and the spiritual nature and spirit. And it's all a scam. We are not spirit beings. We are breath beings. So I haven't looked at the Course in that regard. I haven't looked at it through those brain cells or searched anything from it. My focus has been more on my own personal breath practice, and then with the guidance to write this book on, what they told you about me, including my name. It's all Greek to me. So I really don't have much to say. I don't have much recollection of how the breath is mentioned. Of course, now you've asked the question, I'll go do some looking.
So could
But-
we be, Michael, both spirit and breath beings? Does it have to be one or the other? Could it not be both and?
Well, my only justification to say no to that is that there's not even such a word or concept in Aramaic. There's a Greek cosmology. It's got these disembodied spirit things that run around and trap people and terrorize people and send people to hell and try to force them to go to hell. And, there's all that. That's all Greek cosmology. There's nothing Aramaic. There's nothing in the Semitic mind that would even conceive of that garbage, of these spirit beings trying to trick us and da. So the fact that there isn't a word for spirit, the word is breath. It isn't spirit. It just isn't. So my based on that, my offering would be no. I don't think so. And if you look at the whole idea in Greek cosmology, there's this critter outside of us that, and this, I would see that as the whole foundation of how we got into becoming, where virtually everybody in the culture is trained to be a member of the one world universal religion of blame, and to always be thinking of, there's some evil spirit out. That person's possessed by an evil spirit. That's why they're doing this to me. That's why, and it's just that would be my immediate response and my rationalization behind it.
I'm wondering if there's not a couple of definitions about spirit that are kind of conflicting here. Also, one of the things that I did want to mention that came to me is that I have this intuitive feeling that everything breathes. that
Yes,
the
including the earth.
the mountain just breathe, the earth breathes, and in fact,
Yes.
the universe itself is breathing.
Mhm.
There's, and it's
Expansion and contraction.
right. So, it's a form of movement, and it's a form of yin yang, like bringing something in and releasing something out.
The cycles.
Yeah. So I also think breath, the word breath and the word spirit perhaps have limited definitions in our minds about what that is.
Yes,
So,
as a matter of fact, part and parcel of what I decided I'm going to head in the direction of doing, because we have this limited view of breath. Oh, well, you breathe and you get oxygen. If you don't get oxygen, you die. And well, it's because you don't have oxygen, that's why you die. But what I wrote about this morning is what I'm going to put in, and I'm just kind of grokking it and understanding it and putting it in writing. But I'm going to start to language, and I think this is the language I'm going to use, the Qudsha factor. In Aramaic, Rukha, Rukha, is a word for the breath and the elemental forces of the creator. And Rukha to Qudsha, and I'm probably going to change the spelling because I've been going back to Aramaic sources, and the standard that the Khabouris Institute had decided to go with in English transliteration of that word, Qudsha, is Koodsha. But I think I'm going to go back to the closer to the Aramaic is Qud, D apostrophe Qu, Rukha to Qudsha. But I'm going to start to talk about what I'm going to refer to as the Qudsha factor. And that is that think of the breath in this way of, oh, well, you go, and it's a breath. But it's not just that. There's the other half of it, to Qudsha. And the root of that word in Aramaic is kosher. That the breath that is proper for humans, it isn't just any old breath. There were 3 different levels of breath that were referred to in the Aramaic. One is the breath that everything and everybody breathes, every animal. And I would agree with you right down to the universe. And then there's a confused or distorted breath that's breathed with hostility, fear, and confusion. And then there's this one that's designed by the creator for humans called Rukha to Qudsha. And it's that Qudsha factor that we need to understand and step into on a whole other level than just thinking about, well, you take in air and, that's what you get is air, and you either live with it. So really, growing in the breath to me is, it's like when the breath is held, that's where physiological resistance builds up. And in Aramaic, that's a definition of Satan. When you breathe the conscious breath designed for us by the creator, then that Qudsha factor is what drops if you do that in a consistent, persistent way over a period of time. And it usually takes, 20, 30 minutes. What happens is that the resistance collapses. Satan disappears from the body. And Satan in Aramaic, remember, is the resistor, one who misleads. So when that Qudsha factor becomes active, and I'm understanding at this point at least the best way I know to explain, I'm trying to teach my mind how to talk about it, is that when we bring that Qudsha factor in, resistance collapses. The breath is no longer held. There's no longer those defensive micro pauses that we tend to do. You know, when you're talking to somebody and their stuff is up and you ask them if they're breathing and you know they're not, they go, oh yeah, I'm breathing. Those little, all of that disappears. The resistance dissolves. And now awareness no longer arrives through perception. That's when it arrives directly through actuality or from actuality. And intelligence replaces awareness.
That could be the level of breath that breatharians live on.
That would make sense.
A level of awareness and of breath that we haven't achieved. And people are like, oh, how can breatharians possibly live like that? And it's because they're actually doing a whole different process or level or degree of breath.
Bringing that other factor.
Yeah.
That
Bringing
was
in
what
the
I got.
bringing in the Qudsha.
Bringing in the Qudsha. Yeah, we could have a whole new song, couldn't we?
Yeah. Are you bringing in the Qudsha?
So that's basically what I had, decided this morning I was going to do. I did some writing on this, the Qudsha factor, and that's the piece that's missing from the breath. And Satan's existence depends on the held breath.
And if there's no Satan, then you could live on that pure breath.
Makes sense to me now. I've heard of them, but I've never met one. Last time I knew of somebody who said they met one, they caught him in a restaurant one day.
I've heard of them too. Yeah, I don't think they're out eating in restaurants like we are. I don't know. Maybe because they don't, eat.
Can I add something in this? Because I'm just looking at my book,
Please.
The 72 Living Divine Names of the Most High by Dr. J.J. Hurtak, and I'm on the one with Rukha Qudsha. And so just this piece, it says, I'm just going to read, it says, okay, regardless the name, so Rukha Qudsha, he spells it Rukha, and then Qudsha is D, the way that you spell it, Kodddsha. He spells it with the D. But it says, let me just find this here. The name initiates the presence of the divine spirit indwelling within us as within every fiber and subatomic particle of creation. This indwelling spirit gives order to the divine similitude of God that flows through all life. Rukha is connected with the breath of life as well as the consciousness of thought revealed within the virtues of life. In consonance with the Qudsha, the consciousness of our thought process can attach to the higher mind. And then according to, there's many gifts, etc. But that's interesting because
that's right on.
Yeah, what
Except
I'm
that he's been assimilated or steeped in, or one of your favorite words, marinated in. This whole idea of a non-physical being, a spirit. And it's in Aramaic. It isn't there. It's breath. It is like every word there that where he put spirit in. If you put breath in, I think you've got an accurate take. And that's when those micropauses disappear. That's when the nervous system is allowed to exit its vigilance mode. The non-being mind.
But he's talking about, didn't you read that he said indwelling spirit?
Yeah, he did. So that's what I in the very beginning. So the presence of divine spirit indwelling within us as within every fiber, subatomic particle of creation. This indwelling spirit gives order to the divine similitude of God that flows throughout our life.
There's this idea of spirit. I mean, we can use the the term spirit in a lot. Oh, the spirit of Christmas, or the the spirit in which you do this thing, or there's an ugly negative spirit surrounding me, or whatever. And I think I feel like those are all different things, using the same word. And I think an indwelling spirit may be something that I'm not ready to let go of, because I feel like it has an aspect of divinity to it.
And isn't it interesting, because as he says here, Rukha is connected with the breath of life. So as you guys are speaking, what I'm feeling is, okay, so we come into this life in these bodies through the breath. That's the spirit within, I believe. But there's also, I want to say, we are connected. It's like we are the raindrop in the rain of the rain itself, or the ocean, or water droplet in the ocean. It's almost like different layers, or I don't even have words for it. Different ranges, just like you talked about, Michael, about the different stages of breath. There's also different stages potentially. There's the indwelling spirit within us. And
Again, I would,
yeah,
I mean, I'm really clear at this point, experientially, from what I've
yeah,
been taught in the last year, that there's no indwelling spirit. There is an indwelling breath.
yeah, we can,
And when we
yeah,
say, and when we split those, we just created this. There's the place where the separation occurs. My take, my
yeah,
offering at this point, is
yeah,
that's where the separation occurs. Oh, now we got two. You see, we got this and this,
yeah.
and it was never meant to
Oh,
be. It was never meant to. It was never meant to be a separation there. We received whatever it is, the Qudsha, the breath of God,
Yeah.
that heals us, that gives us intelligence, that literally is actual life in our physiology. And
So
when we
tell me,
split it,
yeah.
we're now in duality in a different game.
so
So
that's
yeah.
interesting to me. That makes that makes it understandable, I think.
But help me understand more. Then I just want to go back, because I want to see that we can land this. So the indwelling spirit, we're saying that's that the indwelling
The
spirit
indwelling
just,
breath.
yeah, but so so we're in a human form having breath. That doesn't mean that's an aspect of spirit, but that's not spirit itself. Does that make sense? That like that. I want to get the language, and I can feel we're
Okay.
unraveling something here, unfurling something. So there's the indwelling spirit, which gives
No,
rise to,
no. There's the indwelling breath.
yeah,
We created a separation. And the Greeks, remember, the Greeks have this cosmology of duality. And now we can put something outside of us when we play in that cosmology. But when we go into the cosmology, the Semitic mind, the Aramaic mind, Yeshua's mind, it doesn't talk about an indwelling spirit, or that God put his spirit in us, or that there's some sort of holy ghost, some
it's
ghost thing
breath.
that flies down from the sky. It is breath, period. It
Okay.
is literally, we are literally sharing the breath of God.
Okay, so let's clean up this language then in this
May I
statement. So,
share something?
oh,
Please go ahead, throw it in.
I'm really popping because this is
Yay.
my interpretation, and I may be totally incorrect. But I'm feeling an energy of, and energy is a key word for me around this whole conversation, of my way is the right way to interpret this. So may I share the possibility of all of the above? That we're trying to explain something in words, which you, Michael, have said so many times. The language is not the actuality.
Yes.
And so let me share a bridge, if I may, as a former language student, with one of the insights that I developed. If one wants to really understand the whole cultural understanding of life, one would need to steep oneself in the foreign language to the degree that the locals would say, You're local. You got it. And the Romans, of course, and the Greeks were never interested in really studying the Aramaic that way because they were empires. And so they had their own languaging and their own cosmology. And
their
there
own
the
gods.
twain shall meet.
And their own gods to sell.
That's right. Now, let me continue, please. So for me, the perfect bridge is quantum physics, because quantum physics is not exclusive from my very lay point of view. It's very inclusive. It says there's energy and there's no matter. Matter is our perception, the energy field reduced in vibration until we think we see something that is solid, and that's basically because we put our attention on it so long we're kind of mesmerized. So for me, when someone says spirit, I think immediately of energy, of that absolute conscious, perfect love energy. That is the field it expresses in quantum physics as energy of the physical quote-unquote world. It's all illusionary, and we're doing the best we can understand it from our own culture and language and point of view interpretation. Okay, so we've got energy that can appear as matter if the attention is put on it a certain way, and then you get a certain interpretation. It's like a little slice of the whole that's zoomed in on until you can't find the whole anymore. And that's all good and well. So when I'm going to speak to someone from another language who doesn't understand my language, I have to use, to the best of my ability, their language. And then, in that process of meeting them where they are, I can start to gently lead them back. So I'm not getting hung up anymore on breath and spirit and all of this stuff, because I call spirit energy, and breath is energy. And so, I understand both of your points of view from the energy context. And I wanted to share that with you because you said so often how we can get stuck in the language and our understanding of the language and our rightness about our interpretation. And I don't need to go there. I really welcome being given another perspective. Another thread in the grand tapestry of life. I just wanted to share that with you all. And Rumi is another excellent example. The four essential practices of Rumi. It's a wonderful book I'm reading. It is written by a very simple little book by a gentleman named Will Johnson, Ecstatic Body, Awakened Soul. Rumi had a foot in both worlds. And the poems in there and the little introductions for each section, it was eat lightly, breathe deeply, move freely, and gaze raptly. I share that with you. It's been so helpful for me. I'm so glad for your conversation. Thank all of you. And I love the work you're doing, Michael. And thank you.
Cool. Delighted. Thank you.
And the triune body, that's the other link to all of this conversation. I have redefined for myself the Trinity. And
I'd like to hold for a second here.
Okay,
that's been a long piece of input, and what I want to stay focused on, what I'd like to do is stay focused on this idea we started with of the breath, and there's a whole other aspect that they turned this into some kind of ghostly part of the Trinity. That's another whole story that has, I think, separated us from what Yeshua is teaching in his native Aramaic. And what I'm working to get
Right,
back to
and
is
remind me
what
of that
the way
later
shower was
then, would
giving
you,
us.
Michael?
Yeah, cool.
Right. Would you
Sure.
remind me later? I would love to
Oh,
explore that with you. All
okay.
right.
Cool. All righty.
Thank you for letting
Cool.
me jump in.
Okay. Sweet.
So,
And yeah, go ahead.
oh, maybe were you finished with your thought?
I just wanted to say thank you for bringing that forward because, Celinda, because that what is true is beyond words.
Beyond naming, yes.
And if we just sat in the energy of what Celinda said and we dropped all like the symbology, even in this journey we're in here is all symbols. The journey itself, all that we see is imaging. And then we have words trying to describe that imaging. So that's twice removed from the direct experience of it. I know we're on a call, and if we just feel the truth of what you were saying, Michael, and the truth of what Celinda said and what I said, and also what Carrie said, and just be in its revelation in our own being.
And all you have to do that is breathe.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the real way shower, that's what I'm getting,
Yeah.
is that's where the real way shower is. And,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I've talked about this, Yeshua talks about how the gate is narrow, few will be that find it. There's a way shower to that gate,
Yeah.
and it's in our nostrils, and it was given to us with our first breath, and it's always been there.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
the only one that can guide me into that gateway in me is that breath in me. The only one that can guide you.
Yeah.
I can tell you that it's there. I mean, if you've never suspected it, and I spent years never suspecting, and then all of a sudden I was shown it, it's like, oh, okay, now I can look. But only your breath can take you there.
Yeah.
The power to do it is not outside of you.
Yeah.
And if we mistake the understanding of that, if we lose the understanding of that, then we've lost our connection to the way shower.
Yeah.
And it's
And
in
then
our nostrils.
Yeah. And exactly what you said, that everybody has their own, the indwelling breath, the indwelling energy. I'm going to say what Linda said, just that indwelling presence. Actually, I wanted to say presence. It's an indwelling presence
Yes.
that comes through the form of breath. So
Yeah.
breath is the outer expression of
Yeah.
that presence.
So, Michael,
Yeah.
what would you
And as we
say?
talked about in the intensive, we there is a word in Aramaic. Another word for that indwelling presence was the Shekinah, that it's the
Yes.
felt presence of
Yeah.
the love moved in physiology by the breath. Excuse me, go ahead, Carrie.
So now I'm questioning the word indwelling. And it was interesting. Celinda was talking about language, and it jumped out at me again, that what is the breath or the spirit? What is it dwelling in?
Awareness.
Consciousness?
That's not a word I've ever felt particularly comfortable around. That's why I use the word being or non-being mind, that our created essence. Consciousness has been kicked around in science and in psychology and psychiatry and so many areas. And so it's not a word that you rarely ever hear me use the word. And the objective is, as weak as words are to take us there, is to enter the practice that connects us with that presence. In and out may be a fall, another perceptual construct. We have language for the inside and the outside of something that is one, therefore there is no inside and outside. There's always that conversation too, but ultimately to me, the only reason for using words is to guide each one of us back to where the solution is in ourselves. The minute we create a split and a separation, then we can be pushed in another direction by language.
So in your mind, is awareness the same as presence?
Well, I think each individual's awareness, I mean, I have an awareness of this, that, or the next thing, the temperature of the tea that I'm drinking, the sweetness of the croissant that I had for lunch, whatever. And so I have awareness of that. And we can also have an awareness of this, what in Aramaic was called the Shekinah, the literal presence. And I would make an effort to define that. It's probably indefinable, but an effort from my own experience to define it as, and that's why in the quantum still point, the direction was there to pay attention to the pulses, because to me the Shekinah showed up as pulses, and being in that awareness serves. Where the opposite, the non-being mind, carbon-based memory, it relies on the held breath, and that held breath generates resistance so that we can stay in control. And most people spend their whole lives trying to maintain the illusion of control. And trying to maintain that illusion of control, they don't realize that what it is that they're avoiding, they're relegating to the unconscious, and that becomes a very pattern that has resulted in their held breath, the very energy that controls the state and the results that they end up creating in their lives, as opposed to just inviting the breath in and being in it and allow it to show us.
So, in this place of just the breath, then there's no mind.
No mind. Got to be out. Ultimately, you've heard me say it 1,000 times, you got to be out of your mind. Mind, and if we define in this case mind as carbon-based memory, the function of the storage system past representing itself. And then there's, of course, another use of the word mind, which I think is a truer mind. That would be the mind of Christ, that it is the awareness function of the breath that brings us to what they spoke of as the mind of Christ. That's in us.
It's so funny as you're speaking right now. I'm just breathing, and I just got the insight as we were talking about earlier about the expansion and contraction of breath, and also the expansion and contraction. So I was being the observer, and I was expanding into the breath in human form, and then contracting into the ego. Do you know that's where the contraction is, the non-being mind?
Satan.
Yeah.
Resistance.
So I was just seeing, oh, interesting, as the observer, as the witness in this game, that there is just the expansion and contraction, and the presence it's contained within presence, those two experiences.
And that's what I'm working toward defining for myself as the Qudsha factor. When we allow that to just move in us, we allow that breath. There's another factor that goes beyond our definition of breath and oxygen and what have you. And that's where it's like being moves beyond the speed, beyond the structure, the memory-based awareness.
Yeah.
Awareness is no longer filled by interpretation.
Yeah.
It's direct experience of the actuality as created by the Creator. And the resistance gone, in that breath is a transmutation of all unconscious content.
Yeah, it's amazing. Go ahead.
And then just dissolving back into the presence.
That's what I'm experiencing right now. It's like I became one step removed from being in the game, being on the bleachers watching what's going on, but I'm observing it and seeing the expansion through the in-breath and then the contraction. And I can see that exactly what's happening between the being and the non-being mind. That's very interesting, very exciting.
I'm with you.
Very exciting.
So there's the space of knowing. It happens through Rukha,
Yeah.
the Qudsha factor. And when we're in that clarified breath, the awareness that you're talking about, you don't have to deduce truth. It's just there.
It reveals. Yeah.
Intelligence is not, the mind isn't processing it. Meaning is simply, there it is. It's handed to us by the revealer. I think we're meant to live in revelation, as opposed to, what was called the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, trying to figure it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. For sure.
That's the tree of good and evil. Well, I could just figure this out. As long as we're trying to figure it out,
Yeah, we can't find it there. It doesn't exist there because it has to
yeah.
happen. It happens in direct experience. And when Carrie asked the question about the difference between presence or what you thought your uh, awareness and presence, so I could see the awareness was taking the mirror and what look, not mirror, taking, I guess, the focus. It's like taking my flashlight or me and shining it on something, being conscious of something. All of a sudden, taking my awareness filter and placing on something. And presence is an actual state of it, whatever that is, experiencing the state of it.
I think the direct intelligence of the breath
Mhm.
replaces the pseudo intelligence of memory, and the still
Yeah.
point. When you get that Kudja factor really going and you hit the still point, that's when the mind just drops out. It's not
Yeah.
that the mind is processing faster or something. It's just not even required. It's like
Yeah.
out of the game. You go sit in the penalty box.
Yeah. And I loved when Dr. Tim was talking yesterday. Um, when he was reading Krishna Murti's talk, and Krishna Murti talked about, and I love this, that thought was a sensation, that he referenced thought, and I'm like, what? That's it. Oh my gosh, that clicked, and I mean that's still being revealed to me, but it is not. It's just a sensation. And then when we're just existing, knowing that we don't have to attach to it.
And true thought is the ability to hold love conscious, active, and present
Yeah.
in the breath, no matter what happens,
Yes.
no matter what's
That's
going
it.
on in the world.
That's it.
That's true thought.
Because that's when you're connected to the truth of what is.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right there. That's when you are taking your awareness and you're landing into the presence. You become that where there's no separation between
Joining everybody in
where
breathing.
yeah, between awareness. There is no separation between awareness and presence. You become one of all there is.
Just like the Zen master said to the hot dog vendor, right?
What did
Make
he
me
say?
one with everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it.
Carrie, your thoughts? Thank you for opening this conversation.
Oh, yeah, thank you. This has been great. I've been taking notes from everything that everybody said. Um, and
And of
I'm
course, we have a
gonna,
recording too.
yeah, and I'm gonna breathe on it.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Then let's continue it tomorrow. See what opens for everybody. Just if everybody would step into that breathing process
Or Monday, yeah.
I guess it's Monday. Today's Friday already, isn't it? Today's.
And I just
Please
want
come
to
and
add
share.
the one just before we quit. So it's not surprising that the Romans are not because they could only meet their world equal to the consciousness that they held within self. So you could see they would have had a strong dualistic mind. So they would not have had the spiritual or the mental brain cells to be able to perceive anything but separation. They couldn't have went to the depth even where we're going today in this conversation, taking us to a deeper layer behind the languaging. And that's the state of humanity. We can only
Yeah,
perceive in this collective consciousness equal to what we are in our inner consciousness.
right. And the fact that the Aramaic language, like literally the letters of the alphabet, are reflections of the physics of the actuality.
Yeah.
That they're 3D shadows of the shadow that would be cast by the movement of the atomic structure of the elements. It's like everything else was made up in the minds of men.
Yeah.
The Aramaic wasn't. It comes out of the actuality, out of the physics of the energy system of the earth, of the creation.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Do we have so that there it is, the data is right there in the language. It's an energetic frequency and that is ready to be read. We talk about read and write on computers. Being able to be read by your consciousness and then being able to be writable in your reality. Now, if you don't have the coding in your own structure in order to read what's being given in that language, you can't see it. And, look what you've brought in by your awareness already in the language. And now it sounds like it's even going in such a deeper a depth for yourself and then for all of us on the call as well, to be able to bring the true resonance of that language so it can be fully writable in this reality. And we're doing it.
Mm-hmm. Breathing with everybody, and between now and Monday morning, Monday afternoon, I just hold the space that we all spend a significant amount of time breathing and just connecting with each other and inviting that direct revelation.
May I share a very short Rumi poem to wrap up this conversation?
Go for it.
On beyond ideas of right doing and wrongdoing, there is a field.
There's a field.
I will meet you there. A field.
Meeting you there. There you go.
Right.
The field of the breath.
When the soul, right. When the soul lies down in that breath, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense.
Joining you in your inner sense.
Right. I just thought that was so apt
And
to what
breathing.
we were sharing about new revelation. Thank you. I'm breathing too.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Have a blessed weekend. Breathe